Hey all, we are at Watkins, Glen in the Cup car. We had a caution and only me and the crash car is pitted because we can make it from here to the end. That is a new track record. I've been hitting, when I have a clear track, a fair number of 106s. That's the lowest. I think that might be my fastest lap ever at Watkins Glen in a Cup car. In any of the heat series. Now, this is a new setup based on that Xfinity setup that I ran last year. Once again, the Cup car needs different adjustments, and I've been trying to kind of nail it down, but that's what the race is for. So essentially, it's really, really, really fast, but it's not as stable as I want it to be. I'm making adjustments, and I just had to back it off. I just put it back to what I started with, which requires a little bit more work, but it's kind of like the baseline. When I'm in traffic, because second and third are kind of close, I'll throw it in second for a little extra braking, especially when I want to hit the bottom. One of the things that this doesn't do as well as the Xfinity car, and the Xfinity car can use some work in this too, is roll through turn 1. It's about 5 miles an hour slower than the oh, there's Jones. Is that Jones and Hamlin right in front of each other? Of course, these two guys have been trying to wreck me. I have not touched them all race. And now I got them nose to tail. It's gonna hit me. I better back out and pass him some. I have time. Everybody, I believe, in front of me has to pit. I don't. Ooh, blew that. We got 30 laps of gas. 29 laps to go. I don't like 29. I want... it's a little bit loose. I have to play around with the setups. I'm in the ballpark. They enter this turn way too fast. I was paid to pass them here. I'll show you what I'll do if I can manage it. That's one. Ah, he's hitting me. Shit. Oh, there goes my no contact. Oh, and he wrecked himself. God damn it, why do they have to be so aggressive they wreck themselves? Fucking idiots. Well, if you don't touch a guy that's angry at you like that for a whole race, he usually backs down. At least to orange. Guaranteed Hamlin will be red another week. But they keep trying to wreck me, and they wreck themselves. I have them running more stable, so that stuff, you know, shouldn't, well, to my mind, it shouldn't be happening. Oop. Can't really worry about them, can I? I'm not killing it. It's just a little bit off. Now, one thing that this, I'll tell you, the Cup car didn't like, it didn't like all the track bars up, so I had to lower the track bars because it was wobbly, moving around way more than the Xfinity car, which is a little weird to me since there's so much more downforce in the Cup car and so much less in the Xfinity. It kind of, to my mind, should be the opposite, with the air holding the, you know, the rear end down more, but welcome to heat. Yeah, it's just a little off. Still fast. But I will say, when it was more stable, that's when I was hitting those 106s. It was too tight. Oh, see, it's a little bit unstable there. See, you heard me hit the brake? That was to point the nose. Just throwing my foot on the gas. That was terrible. I slid right across his nose. Luckily he didn't hit me. I didn't want to do that. But that's the instability. See, in the Xfinity car, it doesn't do that. I also backed the gearing down a little bit. In some parts of the track, you know, I am running a little bit. See, they pull back up on me there. But I'm faster than them by far through the S's. When I hit it right like that. And down this straightaway here, I fly. But yet they still enter this part faster than I do. Also, the low brake bias doesn't seem to work as well on the Cup car. It over-rotates too much entering the carousel there. But, you know, it's fine-tuning. I can allow for it. As you can see, it's not really slow. Those 7s is nicely fast. But I know guys who can run like 104s here, so. As fast as I am, I know there's more speed. And there's more speed in this setup. I just have to get the balance right. But we're over a second faster than our fastest lap here when we raced here last, so that's huge. Like I said, I don't think I've ever been in the 6s. I'll double check that because I just threw this setup in. I was gonna work on it. I don't think I ran more than 5 laps together, and because I'm just not up to speed health-wise, and good enough. I won the second stage. I came in 5th in the first stage because I pitted, no one else pitted, and I restarted 40th and can only get back up to 5th place by the end of the stage. But I needed to make that change because I am testing, so sometimes I will make decisions that might not be great for racing, and I'll usually point them out, but good for testing. second place right there. Fine. A rocket ship. Who's leading? Me? No, Kyle. Kyle got into me in the bus stop and spun around. I believe that was the first quick caution. They, like I said, I didn't expect them to be that fast through there. Yeah, I gotta... What I'm experiencing, what I don't like about what the set is, it's tight in the nose. It's not tight. The rear end is a little bit loose, which is fine. It's just it's tight in nose. It's like it wants to push too much. I don't know. The tire pressures show it. Well, yeah, here. So usually it's 4% difference on the right, 4% loose. So it should be like 86 and 82. And on the left, it's usually 2%. But as you can see, it's even or 1% tight. But I'm pretty sure it's a front end thing. So it might be camber, there's a couple things it could be. I have to do like a full-on, hour, 2-hour test session to sort it out. I just was not up to that today. Well, since I put it back to where it was, it seems more... It's not as stable as I want it to be, but it's more raceable. Is that Kyle leading this? Or is he in the middle? He's in the middle. Whoa. There it is. And there he goes. Slow down. Slow. I'm literally like 20, 25 miles an hour faster than him through here. 15, 20, 25. I know I went through there at 98 once, this race. So here I'll go second because I'm on the inside. I can't arc it. And it's not braking as good. It needs different brake bias. Which, if I was in a real race car, I'd just reach over. See that? Where is it? Oh, it's behind my right hand. Is it behind my right hand? It'll be somewhere on the right. That's the ignition. Oops. But there'd be a dial. Yeah, there it is. The right behind the steering wheel there, the yellow knob. Yeah, that should be it. And I just turn that forward or rear brake bias and adjust it. If you're loose, you can adjust it and it can tighten you up. If you're loose in, if you're loose off, mainly loose in. But you can fine-tune your car more with it. But they don't let you do that in a race. Which I'm a little confused at. 18 laps to go. Because the last version of this game had that. As we talked about it many times, it had the brake bias adjustments in race. In the car, it had the... track bar adjustments on pit stops, which are huge, and before the race they had corner heights. You can adjust your corner heights. All excellent tools for making more speed and getting through turns faster, and down the straightaway, and so on and so forth. So some of the setups I do kind of emulate some of the things you could do with those, and then trying to figure out, okay, I'm in the race, I can't up the track bar or lower the track bar, what's the next best thing? You know, kind of thing. And it's usually tire pressure. A wedge, combination thereof. Yeah. Like we learned when they went to the Gen 6 car, the engineering level of these cars got to a point where, I think it was an interview with Kyle Busch, who's always very involved in the setups of his cars. And he said, you know, I think one of the reporters asked him, he was loose, like, oh, so you put some wedge in it? And he's like, no. You know, we're at the point where we set the wedge before we come to the racetrack. And it's the last thing you want to touch because it has to do with the balance of the car. You know, if the balance is that far off, of course. But most of what we do, since we're so close when we come to the racetrack, is we're just fine-tuning. And, you know, so we don't touch the wedge. And it's like, oh, great. That's like one of the main adjustments in the game that emulates cars that don't really use that as an adjustment. Haven't used it as an adjustment. And they do other things like the track bars. Remember they had the motorized track bars? Yeah, that was a great idea. That's more like they have adjustments in Formula 1 and Indy cars. Problem is they weren't as durable. Because they're trying to, you know, not add a ton of cost onto the cars, and to make something like that live. 8-second lead. You gotta build it right, so that costs money. And they did a good job, but you'd have a failure once in a while. A couple cars a race. That was a little bit too much, I guess. And I venture to say, like in Formula 1 and even in IndyCar, especially on road courses, I'd venture to say that what the drivers were doing was adjusting the track bars, fine-tuning it for each turn. So if it was an oval, you know, well, turns 1 and 2, you'd be like that, and then turns 2 and 3, you'd move it a little bit, you know, kind of thing. And so they were using it a lot more than I think NASCAR felt they would, you know. Use it more like a brake bias, which usually you put it a certain spot and you leave it. You might change it, you know, 2 or 3 times during the run, but you're rarely going to change it every turn. I've never seen a NASCAR driver do that. You can, I mean, but typically you want the same feel, and then you just use your foot to change, you know, to modulate the pedal, so on and so forth. But evidently they were using it a lot more, and there was a lot of failures. Not a lot, like I said, 2, 3, 4 a race, but that's like 10%, and that's a lot. Does that mean those guys that broke it were at a disadvantage, you know, for the race, especially if the guys were using it more like IndyCar or Formula 1 and changing it for, you know, each side of the track, you know, kind of thing, or even, you know, 4 times a lap for the 4 different corners. But you used to be able to, and you can't anymore. So that was 199. So I'm getting used to driving it, so my average times have come down, I believe. I saw 107.0 there. nose around so I can get in the groove here and do this. And Bowman's going to get in the way of my fast lap here. Ah, see? Definitely would have had a 106 there. $12 laps, 11 laps, 12 laps, something like that. See, that slide, that's the brake bias. The car is pretty balanced, so it just slides sideways, but I lose a little bit of time doing it. Same here, I just did it. Look at this. Oh, come on! 3 times we got blocked. This won't be a fast lap. Whoa. Now I was trying to look right. I screwed that all up and got into the wall. Or the Armco, as this blue steel stuff is called. The reason why they keep it up is it gives, which most tracks gave up in favor of concrete backed up by boilerplate, or basically naval armor. That's essentially special boilerplate, but it doesn't give anywhere as much. So, like in Watkins Glen, look, the whole track is ringed with this Armco since they built this configuration, I believe. And Armco was like the #1 retaining wall in the 60s on highways and such. Whoa. Hard to see when you get dirt in your face. Okay, just a little bit unstable, and I just had to pause and gather it back up. He should be pitting soon. Well, not everybody, but there's 2 or 3 guys that pitted with me. They must have been in the caution. Also, I'll say something about braking technique. I don't panic brake. Panic brake is like slamming on the brakes. Since I've been into driving, which is since I was 12, I've gone through this whole transformation of how I do things that I follow through on the sim racing and in racing in general, I suppose. See, here I'm just lightly on the brake. Because I know I have the gears set a certain way that the engine is going to break it. You know, it's going to slow it down a certain amount. So I only need X amount. And here I need more, but I'm not even like halfway down on the pedal. Oh, let's see, oh, they're pitting. Hello, Harvey. Oop. I was out of the groove, so I had to get out of the gas, or else I would have slid into him. I have to wait. Parker's gonna hold me up, so I'm gonna go to the outside. See, when I get into gas, it turns it. Whoa! Is Parker pitting? Yeah, he's pitting. Sorry, Parker. You're not pitting that lap now. They can still brake harder. You see, I'm like 80 when I should be closer to 90. It's not bad because I'm faster than them in, you know, 3 or 4 other spots, but you know, like hitting those, you know, faster laps, getting down in the 104s and 105s. I gotta fix that. I think I'm really fast through here. Especially when I get it right, like middle off. I feel like 170 before I brake is fast. I missed it by a couple of feet. And missed that by a couple of feet. I can feel the tires are wearing now too. Still fast enough for this race. I didn't even turn the steering wheel. I might have had it turned like a minuscule amount, but... Oh, come on, Michael. Ah! Nose damage makes it act weird. I hate when they do that. Well, glitch. So the overall like ratio of what I have, like front to rear, right front to left rear, left front to right rear, left to right, is all in the ballpark. It just, not like if it was a picture, it's just a little bit out of focus. And once I get in focus, it should handle better and pick up some speed too. Because I don't know, you know, there's a theory, like there was you know, everybody's got a theory, but there's a few theories going around that when this game was made, there's like a magic setup for each track that gets you the maximum speed and makes it very easy to handle. I don't think so. Because I tend to do things a little bit differently than other people. And And other guys, you know, were coming up doing it, you know, like, oh, you gotta have this, and you gotta have that, and you gotta have your cambers here, and you gotta have, you know, whatever. And I didn't do any of that, and I was still, you know, able to run with them. Beat them sometimes, too. So, I don't think so. If there is, I'd like to know what they are, because if they are, I believe the issue, and why I don't believe it, is not going the speeds like we're going. Going the speeds like the game was designed for, which is literally like in a track like this, 2/10 slower, 2 seconds slower, a second, definitely a second slower. You know, running 110s, yeah, that's what they do in real life, but not at these speeds. We have surpassed that. Not just me. I mean, anybody who runs faster than, say, a 108.0, you know, is, in my opinion, outside the box that they built this game for. Otherwise, the AI would go faster, wouldn't it? Now, they do at some tracks, but not all of them. So, it might be some tracks, yeah, and some other tracks, no. It all depends. Yeah, see, I'm tight to the right and loose to the left at the end of a run. Gotta fix that. And why I say it's tight on the nose is because it has trouble turning in at speed like in the S's there. So it's just a little too snug. I either need more front weight or less front weight because, you know, just thinking you need one or the other, you know, you don't know. You know, sometimes I'll take front weight out and it'll handle like I put front weight in. And then I'll put front weight in and it'll handle like I took it out. So, and it tends to be different at different tracks, you know, as we've discussed many times before. So it's a lot of trial and error, you know. Don't get stuck into, come on, don't get stuck into, oh, this works, because it might have worked at one track and it won't work at this track. So try both things, and then you'll know. And, you know, it could also be, see, it's tight. Oh, I gotta back off here. You know, try not to get set. I mean, guys that are, you know, running the Pro League were telling me all kinds of stuff, and they weren't lying to me. It was just as far as we knew at the time. But over time, we all, I think, you know, the guys who build setups, we've all realized that that's true sometimes, but it's not true all the time. Yeah, kind of tired now. Health thing. Which is why I didn't want to spend too much time working on the setup. I've lapped the whole field, so I can pretty much run backwards and have this on the last lap. Well, another successful race. Another road course one. Wow. It hit the bump weird and wanted to make it go to the left. See, tight to the right. So what I'm trying to do with the road course setup is I'm trying to hit the neutral balance. Left turn to right turn, so it turns equally and hopefully, you know, good at all the tracks. And that's kind of like that's like a weight thing, which is why I have my temps and stuff up. And then if it's turns and gets through okay, but it builds tight or builds loose, and then just adjust like the front to rear balance, you know, like the rear shocks, the rear springs, the rear track bars. But what I'm dealing with here, I believe, is gotta change the front end a little bit, because the rear is free and the front isn't. It's not letting me turn in to do things, so I have to adjust it. But it's the best cup setup I've ever had at Watkins Glen, so not complaining. It's just harder to drive in the Xfinity car and not as maneuverable the way I like it. So first stage, I was going for the lead. There was this quick caution here, right? Not exactly sure what caused the caution. This might have been it here. See, I'm going for the lead because I'm so much faster than them in certain spots. And here we go. I'm in, and yeah, see, I didn't realize he would still want to be outside of me on the left. I haven't had this fast of a car to be like, you know, whatever before. So now I know. Every other time I was in that situation, I tried not to be when I was. I stayed more over to the right. I cut it differently, and I didn't have an issue. That was my bad. Let's see if Kyle turns red on me after the replay here. Yep, see, I restarted back in 40th, but with fresh tires and a full tank of gas. See, I like that NASCAR took away the stage cautions, because a road course has always been, you know, you race it differently. Like before stage breaks, cautions, you know, were few and far between. And in 500-mile races, you didn't plan your race out. You kind of like got in there and saw what was going on and adapted to it. So, but a road course, you plan your fuel, right? So in this race, with ×1, I think we had like 35 laps, 34 laps, 90-lap race. You got to make at least 2 pit stops. And the first stage kind of like doesn't count, but you get it anyway. So I finished 5th. Truex won the first stage. So it's all about the third stage, which is I believe 50 laps, 48. So you only get like 33 laps. You got to pit, right? It's a fuel run and a half. Where you pit late or where you pit early or whatever. Now I adjusted the car and I made it terrible on this pit stop. I won the second stage by a lot. I made it terrible, and it was getting worse as the car went. Now it wasn't that bad. I could drive it, but I knew towards the end of the race I'd have to adjust it. And what I did was I put the wedge up, because if you know the weights, you put the wedge up, makes one side tighter, the other side looser. So I was looking for the balance. So of course it did the opposite of what I wanted it to do. So, like I said, when I started the video, I just backed it out and put it back to where I was at the beginning. And, you know, it was like a half a second slower, but that's okay. Because I need to make other adjustments. You know, as a qualifying setup, I know how to do a mid 106. but you know, long-term race, it doesn't race well. Starts to act weird in the S's and off of turn 7, and those are two spots you do not want to wreck or fly off the track because there's nowhere to go. Yeah, so I let everything, and it was really boring. Won a stage. 250 grand we're up to on the merch payout. Keeps going up. We got 1,000,000 points. $106,550. 56 out of 90 laps. That's good. So, another successful test, but we still have more work to do. Building the bank back up. Here we go. I do have 15 wins. Wow, okay. Yep. Yep, I see Hamlin is still pissed at me. Yeah, he's going to be red next week. But notice no Eric Jones. We probably need another race with him. So next up would be dirt race. And the late models. Next truck race will be at Kentucky. We have a good setup there. We can fine tune it a little bit. Next Xfinity race will be the other road course at Mid-Ohio. Oh, I forgot about that. So, yeah, I didn't look to see. I think we got Kentucky, and then we get the dirt late model Kentucky, and then Mid-Ohio. I'd rather do the road courses all together, but okay. We'll deal with that. And then next up in Cup, I believe we are at Michigan. We're at Michigan, and then we're at Bristol. But that's going to be like, you know, 3-4 races down the road till we get to Bristol. 5 even. 6. I don't know. Depends. I wish they would give a whole schedule when you're in all the series, but they don't. Okay. There's a lot of things I wish. I wish. Anyway. But thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, ask me questions, anything. And we'll see you next time.